Good morning. My name is Halvez. I'm an ecofeminist and head of AZADBOON organization. It is a privilege to be here with you today, and thank you so much for everyone who contributed to organize this forum. My topic is titled People Before Politics, Women and Communities Building Water Solidarity in Mesopotamia. I would like to look at the condition in different perspective, which is ecofeminism perspective. Because Mesopotamia's river have carried civilization, culture, and communities for thousands of years, but today, instead of unifying us, they are being fragmented by dams, by borders, by politics. State-centered diplomacy has failed. Closed doors talks between Ankara, Baghdad, Damascus, Tehran have not produced justice. Yet life along these rivers continues, sustained by communities and very often by the work of women. So I ask, what would water solidarity look like if it began with people, and especially with women, rather than with states? Even in time of war, rivers kept flowing, and in some cases, communities continued ancient practice of sharing water across tribal, ethnic, and even national lines. The question is, can we build on this tradition to make water a confidence-building tool, a reason for dialogue rather than dispute? To explore that, I would like to look at how an ecofeminism perspective can guide us towards a more inclusive, peaceful, and ecological form of solidarity. Ecofeminism teaches us that the domination of nature and oppression of women come from the same roots, domination and control. When rivers are dammed or polluted, it's not only ecosystem that suffers, it's also the women who fetch the water, grow food, and sustain life. But across Mesopotamia, women are not victims. They are caretaker, farmer, and peacemakers. Their everyday labor embodies the same value that water solidarity requires: care, cooperation, and shared responsibility. And yet these voices are often excluded from decision making, which is made the problem. That's why we have looked closely at how top-down diplomacy has failed and look instead to grassroots solidarity already taking shape in our community. So let's look at top-down diplomacy. Traditional diplomacy has been patriarchy and hierarchy. It treats rivers as property to divide rather than as shared living systems. National governments negotiate from position of power, but the results are weak or injustice. This model has given us ecological collapse, water scarcity, and distrust among states, while ignoring those who actually depending on these water. Water cannot be governed by power alone. It needs to be governed by people who understand its rhythm, who live by it, and who care for it. Fortunately, across Mesopotamia, people are showing us another path, one built from care, not competition, from solidarity, not control. Across the region, local communities are providing that diplomacy can be from below. In southern Iraq, women practice it to restore the marshland. In Kurdistan, volunteers organize river cleanups and tree planting, women leading at environmental NGOs. And across towns like Diyarbakir, Mosul, and Basra, local councils are managing water collectively and fairly. This is people-powered water solidarity rooted in daily life, inclusion, and shared responsibility. And what these communities show is exactly what ecofeminism teaches. The cooperation and care can heal where control and competition have failed. Ecofeminism reminds us that peace is not the absence of water, it's the presence of care. When women lead, properties shift from control to cooperation, from extraction to restoration, from profit to protection. Water solidarity have to be guided by empathy and the ethic of care, because the health of our river reflects the health of our societies. And nowhere is more visible than in the history of Mesopotamia itself, a land where rivers once connected rather than divided. So rivers are bridge of peace. The river once united mountain village, marsh dweller, and farmers across border. Even in time of war, the rivers kept flowing, and in some places, people continued ancient tradition of sharing water across tribal, ethnic, and even national lines. The question remains, can we build on these traditions to make water a confidence building tool, a reason for dialogue rather than dispute? Ecofeminism tells us that peace is rational. It grows through trust and care. When communities cooperate around shared water, they create solidarity, and solidarity is the foundation of peace. And this is already happening through civil society, through the work of activists, NGOs, and women who protect their lives, their rivers as they protect their families, who protect the rivers as they protect life itself. While state leaders argue, civil society keeps cooperation alive. NGOs across Mesopotamia documented pollution and challenged destructive dam. Women's groups link climate justice with water justice. Cities like Diyarbakir, Mosul, and Basra could form network of rivers, cities sharing knowledge on water quality, disaster response, and sustainable use. Real peace will not come from closed room in capitals. It will rise from communities along the river banks who choose cooperation over division. But to make this vision real, we need practical action led by women and grassroots communities themselves. To reclaim Mesopotamia's river, women and communities can, from local water council to manage and monitor rivers, lead restoration and cleanup campaigns, revive traditional water sharing custom adapted for today's need, build a cross-border women's network for water justice, advocate for the right of rivers to be recognized in law and policy. Each act of care is also an act of resistance, a declaration that rivers, like women, have the right to live free. And together, these acts of solidarity create a new political language, one rooted in empathy, equality, and ecological peace. To truly reclaim our rivers, we have to decolonize water governance and humanize our relationship with nature. Place women's knowledge and community cooperation on the center of every decision, because without women's freedom, there is no ecological justice. And without living rivers, there is no peace. And so, as we close, I invite you to remember what the rivers have always taught us: to follow, to connect, and to sustain life. Let the Tiger and Euphrates flow freely, as rivers of knowledge, rivers of freedom, and river of peace. May our movements flow like the rivers themselves, borderless, life-giving, and unstoppable. Just as rivers sustain life, women sustain hope, care, and renewal. When women rise, rivers heal. When rivers live, so does our future. Thank you so much.